So what about inflation, Ben? Because that's the elephant in the room. I mean, that's driving the talk about Fed policy. So, when is inflation going to peak is a big question. And once it does it recede more quickly? Does it plateau? I mean, to me, that's a big deal and provides the opportunity for a potential catalyst.
Yeah, and that is the headline. And so right now people are seeing headline inflation at 8.5%, and we're not accustomed to seeing that. So that obviously makes investors nervous. And let's put that into perspective. I mean, that is 8.5% year over year inflation. And a year from now, the bar is higher. So, we saw prices increase 8.5% in the last 12 months. Do you really think prices are going to increase 8.5% in the next 12 months? I would argue no. I think that you are going to see inflation peak, and another catalyst that you could see to the market is the first print that you see that is less than 8.5% becomes lower, could also be another catalyst for the market.
So in addition to inflation from a macro view, I know it's also been an important part of our portfolio management and being mindful that certain companies are more vulnerable to inflationary pressures and challenges than others. So can you just elaborate a little bit on some of the things we're paying attention to try and position clients as best we can?
Absolutely. So I'll give, with recent portfolio changes, things that we're paying attention to are, companies that are less exposed to supply chain interruptions, companies that have low levels of debt in a rising interest rate environment. Of course, a lower debt is going to be helpful with maintaining earnings. And lastly, companies that have pricing power. Sometimes we refer to that as a company has a moat, meaning that they dominate a particular market for a product or a service, and they're able to successfully push those increased input costs onto their customers and therefore maintain their pricing power.
Right, so it's going to affect different companies and balance sheets differently, and we obviously want to have more exposure to those companies that we think are either less affected, one, or maybe even have more opportunity, number two. So in addition to inflation, Ben and I also publish at least once a month our economic perspectives and outlook, which touches on all the things we're paying attention to in the global economy and the markets. You can find that on our website at marksgroup.com.